If you're over 60, every bite you take, every snack you love, and every healthy food you trust could be quietly eroding your brain's ability to function. Yes, even foods you've been told are good for you. What if I told you that 9 everyday foods, likely sitting in your kitchen right now, might be increasing your risk of memory loss, brain fog, or even dementia? These aren't just processed junk foods. I'm talking about items you might consider staples, things you eat daily without a second thought. As a neurologist who's worked with thousands of seniors, I've seen it time and again, well-meaning people eating what they believe is healthy, only to find their focus fading, their memory slipping, and their clarity vanishing. Some of these foods disrupt blood flow to the brain, others trigger inflammation, and some even interfere with medications meant to keep you sharp. Worst of all, the damage often happens silently, with no obvious symptoms, until it's too late. In this guide, I'm urging seniors to rethink these foods or, at the very least, change how you consume them. The good news? You can protect your brain with small, informed changes. Stay with me, because the first food on this list might be in your breakfast bowl right now. Before we start, if you find this helpful, type 1 in the comments to let me know. If not, type 0 so I can improve. Let's dive in. 1. White bread, the silent thief of your brain's clarity. White bread seems harmless, a soft slice for your morning toast or sandwich. For decades, it's been a staple in American kitchens. But for seniors over 60, this refined grain could be quietly starving your brain of the nutrients it needs to stay sharp. White bread is stripped of fiber and nutrients, leaving behind simple carbohydrates that spike your blood sugar. I've spent over 25 years studying cognitive decline, and I've seen patients like Susan, a 68-year-old retired librarian. Susan loved her daily white bread sandwiches, thinking they were a simple, low-cost meal. But she started noticing brain fog, forgetting names, losing her train of thought. Her blood tests showed elevated glucose levels, even though she wasn't diabetic. The culprit? Those refined carbs were causing rapid blood sugar spikes and crashes, reducing blood flow to her brain. High blood sugar doesn't just affect your body, it damages delicate blood vessels in your brain, impairing memory and focus. Over time, these spikes contribute to insulin resistance, a known risk factor for Alzheimer's disease, often called type 3 diabetes. Susan didn't realize her healthy sandwich was silently shrinking her brain's ability to function. The danger isn't just in white bread. Bagels, white rolls, and even enriched flour products act similarly. They lack the fiber that slows sugar absorption, leaving your brain vulnerable to inflammation and oxidative stress. I've seen patients suffer from mood swings, irritability, and even early signs of cognitive decline, all tied to diets high in refined grains. The fix is simple but powerful. Switch to whole grain bread with at least 3 grams of fiber per slice. Better yet, try sprouted grain breads, which are easier to digest and have a lower glycemic impact. Susan made the switch, and within weeks her mental clarity improved. Her memory wasn't perfect, but she felt sharper, more present. If you're eating white bread daily, talk to your doctor or a nutritionist about alternatives. Your brain deserves better fuel. 2. Sugary cereals, the breakfast trap clouding your mind. That colourful box of cereal in your pantry might bring back childhood memories, but for seniors, it's a sugar bomb that could be fogging your brain. Many cereals marketed to adults, yes, even the healthy ones, contain hidden sugars that wreak havoc on cognitive health. A single bowl can deliver more sugar than a dessert. Let me tell you about James, a 71-year-old grandfather who came to me worried about his memory. He'd forget where he parked his car or miss appointments. James ate cereal every morning, thinking it was a light, heart-healthy choice. But his favourite brand had 12 grams of sugar per serving, more than a donut. Those sugar spikes were inflaming his brain, disrupting neuron communication. Sugar doesn't just rot your teeth, it triggers inflammation that damages brain cells. Studies link high sugar intake to smaller hippocampal volumes, the brain area critical for memory. For seniors, whose brains are already more vulnerable to oxidative stress, sugary cereals can accelerate cognitive decline. James didn't feel the damage, but his brain was quietly losing ground. The solution? Check cereal labels. Choose options with less than 5 grams of sugar per serving and pair them with protein like Greek yogurt to stabilize blood sugar. James switched to oatmeal with berries and nuts. 3 months later, his memory lapses decreased and he felt more energized. If you love cereal, opt for whole grain, low sugar varieties. Your brain will thank you. 3. Diet soda, the 0-calorie drink. That's not so innocent. Diet soda seems like a smart choice. 0 calories, no sugar, all the fizz. But for seniors, those artificial sweeteners could be quietly rewiring your brain. Aspartame, sucralose, and other substitutes mimic sugar's taste, but confuse your brain's reward system, leading to cravings and inflammation. I treated Margaret, a 74-year-old who drank diet soda daily, thinking it was healthier than sugary drinks. She came to me with headaches and trouble concentrating. Tests ruled out major issues, but her diet revealed the culprit. Artificial sweeteners can disrupt gut bacteria, which science now links to brain health through the gut-brain axis. For Margaret, her healthy soda was triggering low-grade inflammation that clouded her thinking. Studies show artificial sweeteners may increase risks of cognitive impairment by altering neurotransmitter function. For seniors on medications like antidepressants or blood pressure drugs, these drinks can also cause unpredictable interactions. Margaret didn't feel sick, but her brain was under stress and she was losing her edge. The fix is straightforward. Swap diet soda for water, herbal tea, or sparkling water with a splash of real fruit juice. Margaret started drinking lemon-infused water, and her headaches faded within weeks. Her focus improved, and she felt more like herself. If you're sipping diet drinks, check the label and talk to your doctor. Your brain doesn't need artificial confusion. 4. Margarine, the spread that's spreading. Brain inflammation margarine was once hailed as a heart-healthy alternative to butter, but for your brain, it's a hidden danger. Many margarines contain trans fats or highly processed oils that promote inflammation, clog arteries, and reduce blood flow to the brain. Even low-fat versions can be problematic. Take Robert, a 69-year-old retiree who spread margarine on his toast every morning. He came to me complaining of memory lapses and difficulty solving puzzles, something he'd always loved. His diet was otherwise healthy, but the margarine was loaded with partially hydrogenated oils, silently fueling inflammation in his brain's blood vessels. Trans fats don't just harm your heart, they damage the brain's delicate microvasculature, impairing oxygen delivery. Over time, this contributes to cognitive decline and increases dementia risk. Robert thought he was making a smart choice, but his brain was paying the price for decades of outdated dietary advice. The solution? Switch to small amounts of real butter, olive oil, or avocado as spreads. These contain healthy fats that support brain health by reducing inflammation. Robert made the switch to olive oil, and within months his memory lapses became less frequent. Check your margarine's ingredients. Avoid anything with partially hydrogenated oils. Your brain needs fats, but they have to be the right ones. 5. Processed deli meats. The sandwich staple, stealing your focus. Deli meats like ham, turkey, or salami are quick, convenient, and seem harmless in a sandwich. But for seniors, these processed meats are packed with sodium, nitrates, and preservatives that can cloud your brain. High sodium raises blood pressure, reducing blood flow to the brain, while nitrates trigger inflammation. I met Clara, a 76-year-old who loved her daily turkey sandwich. She started noticing trouble with word recall and felt off after lunch. Her blood pressure was creeping up despite medication. Her deli meats were loaded with sodium, over 800 milligrams per serving, pushing her daily intake far beyond the recommended 1,500 milligrams for seniors. High sodium strains blood vessels, limiting oxygen to the brain and increasing risks of vascular dementia. Nitrates, used to preserve deli meats, can also form compounds that damage neurons over time. Clara's brain was under siege from a food she thought was lean and healthy. The fix: opt for fresh, unprocessed meats like roasted chicken, or make plant-based sandwich with hummus and veggies. Clara switched to homemade chicken breast slices, and her blood pressure stabilized. Her word recall improved, and she felt clearer. Check deli meat labels. Choose low sodium, nitrate-free options, or skip them altogether. Your brain deserves better. 6. Ice cream, the sweet treat. Freezing your brain's potential. Ice cream is a beloved treat, especially on warm evenings. But for seniors, that creamy indulgence could be chilling your brain's ability to function. High in sugar and saturated fats, ice cream spikes blood sugar and clogs arteries, reducing blood flow to the brain. I treated Henry, a 70-year-old who enjoyed a nightly bowl of ice cream. He came to me worried about forgetting conversations and feeling sluggish. His diet revealed the issue. The sugar and fat in ice cream were causing inflammation and impairing his brain's insulin sensitivity, a key factor in memory function. Saturated fats don't just affect your heart. They trigger the release of inflammatory markers that harm brain cells. Over time, this contributes to cognitive decline and increases Alzheimer's risk. Henry didn't feel the damage, but his brain was struggling to keep up. The solution? Swap ice cream for frozen yogurt with live cultures or fruit-based sorbets with no added sugar. Henry started blending frozen bananas with berries for a creamy, brain-friendly dessert. His mental fog lifted and he felt more engaged. If you love ice cream, enjoy it sparingly, once a week, not daily. Your brain needs room to breathe. 7. Canned soups, the comfort food that's discomforting your brain. Canned soups seem like a cozy, healthy choice, especially for quick meals, but many are loaded with sodium and additives that can harm your brain. A single can contain over 1,000 milligrams of sodium, spiking blood pressure and stressing brain blood vessels. Take Ellen, a 73-year-old who relied on canned soups for lunch. She started experiencing dizziness and trouble concentrating. Her blood pressure was dangerously high, despite medication. The sodium in her soups was constricting blood vessels, limiting oxygen to her brain and increasing her risk of stroke and cognitive decline. High sodium doesn't just raise blood pressure, it causes chronic inflammation that damages neurons. Additives like MSG can also trigger headaches and brain fog in sensitive seniors. Ellen thought she was eating light, but her brain was under heavy strain. The fix? Make homemade soups with fresh vegetables and low-sodium broth, or choose canned options with less than 400 milligrams of sodium per serving. Ellen switched to homemade vegetable soup, and her dizziness faded. Her focus improved, and she felt more in control. Check soup labels carefully. Your brain can't afford the sodium overload. 8. Fried foods, the crispy culprit. Frying your brain cells, fried foods like French fries, fried chicken, or onion rings are tempting. But for seniors, they're a direct assault on brain health. The trans fats and oxidized oils in fried foods promote inflammation and damage blood vessels, starving your brain of oxygen. I saw this with Thomas, a 67-year-old who loved his weekly fried chicken. He came to me with memory lapses and difficulty focusing. Tests showed early signs of vascular damage, linked to the trans fats in his fried foods. These fats were clogging his brain's arteries, reducing blood flow and increasing dementia risk. Fried foods don't just harm your waistline, they trigger oxidative stress that kills brain cells. For seniors, whose brains are less resilient, even occasional indulgence can accelerate cognitive decline. Thomas didn't realize his comfort food was stealing his mental sharpness. The solution? Bake or grill your favorite foods using olive oil or avocado oil. Thomas switched to baked chicken with herbs, and his memory lapses became less frequent. His energy returned, and he felt sharper. If you crave crispy textures, try air-fried veggies with minimal oil. Your brain needs clean fuel, not fried chaos. 9. Instant noodles. The quick meal, slowing your brain. Instant noodles are a go-to for quick, cheap meals. But for seniors, they're a hidden threat to brain health. Packed with sodium, MSG, and unhealthy fats, they spike blood pressure, trigger inflammation, and disrupt brain function. I treated Linda, a 75-year-old widow who ate instant noodles several times a week. She came to me with headaches, confusion, and trouble sleeping. Her blood pressure was dangerously high, and the MSG in her noodles was causing neurological irritation, worsening her symptoms. MSG can overstimulate brain cells, leading to headaches and cognitive fog, while high sodium strains blood vessels. For seniors on medications, these noodles can also cause interactions that disrupt drug efficacy. Linda thought she was saving time, but she was risking her brain's future. The fix? Swap instant noodles for whole grain pasta with fresh tomato sauce or homemade stir-fries with veggies and lean protein. Linda started making quick rice noodle bowls with low-sodium broth, and her headaches stopped. Her clarity returned, and she felt more rested. If you rely on instant noodles, check the sodium content and limit them to once a month. Your brain deserves better. So, what can you eat? After learning about these 9 brain-sabotaging foods, from white bread to instant noodles, you might feel overwhelmed. But here's the empowering truth. You can nourish your brain with foods that support clarity, memory, and vitality. Think fatty fish like salmon, rich in omega-3s, leafy greens like kale, but in moderation and cooked, and berries packed with antioxidants. Work with your doctor to create a diet that complements your medications and health conditions. Simple changes, like swapping white bread for whole grains or diet soda for herbal tea, can make a profound difference. It's never too late to protect your brain. Share one change you'll make in the comments below. and let's support each other. Type 1 if this was helpful, or 0 if you want different content. Here's to a sharper, stronger mind. Are your bones feeling more brittle, your joints achier, or your steps less steady as the years pass? Do you worry about a fall that could fracture a hip or shatter your independence? You might blame age, osteoporosis, or genetics. But what if the real culprit is sitting on your plate right now? What I'm about to share may shock you. As an orthopaedic specialist who's treated thousands of seniors with weakening bones, I've uncovered a hidden truth. Certain everyday foods, often considered healthy, are silently eroding your bone strength. These aren't just sugary snacks or processed junk. I'm talking about foods you trust, ones you eat daily to stay well, that could be increasing your risk of fractures, falls, and pain. In this guide, I'll reveal the top 5 foods that could be weakening your bones with every bite and show you what to avoid, what to eat instead, and how to rebuild your skeletal strength. Stay with me, because the first food might be in your pantry today. If you find this helpful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to help me improve. Let's begin. 1. Soda, the fizzy drink. Dissolving your bones, that refreshing can of soda, regular or diet, feels like a harmless treat. But for seniors over 60, it's a silent bone destroyer. Soda, whether sugary or artificially sweetened, is loaded with phosphoric acid and other compounds that leach calcium from your bones, making them brittle and prone to fractures. I met Dorothy, a 72-year-old retiree from Texas, who came to my clinic after a minor fall left her with a wrist fracture. She was active, walked daily, and took calcium supplements, but her bones were dangerously weak. When I asked about her diet, she admitted to drinking 2 cans of cola daily for decades. She thought it was just a small indulgence. Here's the problem. Phosphoric acid in soda binds to calcium in your gut, preventing absorption. Over time, this starves your bones of the mineral they need to stay strong. For seniors, whose bodies already absorb less calcium, this is a recipe for osteoporosis. Dorothy's cola habit was quietly dissolving her skeleton, increasing her fracture risk with every sip. Worse, soda's high sugar or artificial sweeteners disrupt blood sugar, triggering inflammation that further weakens bone-building cells. I've seen patients with thinning bones, unexplained pain, and even stress fractures, all linked to regular soda consumption. Dorothy didn't feel the damage until her wrist snapped. The fix? Swap soda for water, herbal tea, or milk fortified with vitamin D to support bone health. Dorothy started drinking calcium-rich almond milk and cut soda entirely. Within 6 months, her bone density scans showed slight improvement, and she felt steadier. If you love fizzy drinks, try sparkling water with a splash of lemon. Your bones need protection, not punishment. 2. Salty. Snacks, the crunchy culprit. Crumbling your skeleton chips, pretzels, and salty crackers are easy grabs for a quick snack. But for seniors, these sodium-packed foods could be crumbling your bones. High sodium forces your kidneys to excrete calcium, robbing your bones of their primary building block and increasing fracture risk. Take George, a 68-year-old former mechanic from Ohio. He came to me with chronic back pain and a recent ankle fracture from a minor trip. George prided himself on avoiding sweets, but he munched on salty pretzels daily. His food journal revealed he was consuming over 3,000 milligrams of sodium a day, double the recommended 500 milligrams for seniors. Excess sodium doesn't just raise blood pressure, it pulls calcium from your bones to balance blood chemistry. Over time, this leads to bone loss, especially in the spine and hips, where fractures can be devastating. George's pretzel habit was silently weakening his skeleton, making every step a risk. The solution? Choose low-sodium snacks like unsalted nuts, fresh veggies, or air-popped popcorn. George switched to carrot sticks with hummus, cutting his sodium intake significantly. His back pain eased, and follow-up scans showed stabilized bone density. Check snack labels. Aim for under 140 milligrams of sodium per serving. Your bones can't afford the salt overload. 3. Red meat, the protein powerhouse. That's hard on your bones. Red meat, like steak, burgers or pork, is a staple for many, prized for its protein and iron. But for seniors over 60, eating it too often could be weakening your bones. Red meat is high in protein, but excessive animal protein increases acid levels in your body, forcing your bones to release calcium to neutralize it. I treated Evelyn, a 74-year-old from Florida who loved her weekly steak dinners. She came to me after a hip fracture from a simple stumble. Evelyn was diligent about exercise and took calcium supplements, but her bone density was alarmingly low. Her diet revealed the issue: red meat 3 times a week, which was overloading her system with acid. High acid levels from red meat don't just stress your kidneys, they pull calcium from your bones, thinning them over time. For seniors whose bone-building cells slow down, this can accelerate osteoporosis. Evelyn's steak habit, paired with age-related bone loss, left her vulnerable to fractures that threatened her independence. The fix? Limit red meat to once a week and balance it with plant-based proteins like beans, lentils or tofu, which are less acidic. Evelyn switched to grilled salmon and chickpeas, rich in omega-3s and calcium-friendly nutrients. Her bone density stabilized and she regained confidence in her mobility. If you love meat, choose lean cuts and pair with alkaline veggies like broccoli. Your bones need balance. 4. Coffee, the morning brew, brewing bone loss. Coffee is a morning ritual for millions, but for seniors, too much could be brewing trouble for your bones. Caffeine increases calcium excretion in urine and can interfere with its absorption, weakening your skeleton over time. For those with osteoporosis or low bone density, this is a serious risk. I met Frank, a 70-year-old retired teacher from New York, who drank 4 cups of coffee daily. He came to me after a vertebral fracture from lifting a grocery bag. Frank was stunned. His bones shouldn't be that fragile. His coffee habit was the hidden culprit, leaching calcium and reducing his bone strength. Caffeine doesn't just flush calcium, it can also reduce vitamin D absorption, critical for bone health. For seniors, who often have lower vitamin D levels, excessive coffee can tip the scales toward fractures. Frank didn't feel the damage, but his spine was silently weakening with every cup. The solution? Limit coffee to 1 or 2 cups daily and pair it with calcium-rich foods like yogurt or fortified milk. Frank cut back to 1 cup and added a vitamin D supplement. His bone density improved slightly and he avoided further fractures. If you love coffee, consider decaf or switch to green tea, which has less caffeine and bone-friendly antioxidants. Your skeleton deserves a break. 5. White rice, the side dish. Sapping your bone strength. White rice is a go-to side dish, fluffy, versatile, and seemingly harmless. But for seniors, this refined grain could be sapping your bone strength. Stripped of fibre and nutrients, white rice spikes blood sugar and lacks the minerals needed to support bone health. leaving your skeleton vulnerable. I treated Helen, a 76-year-old from California, who ate white rice with dinner most nights. She came to me after a fall fractured her pelvis. Helen was active and took calcium, but her bones were thinning rapidly. Her diet revealed the issue. White rice was a staple, providing empty calories and no bone-supporting nutrients. Refined grains like white rice cause blood sugar spikes that trigger inflammation, which impairs bone-building cells. Unlike whole grains, white rice lacks magnesium and vitamin K essential for bone strength. For seniors who need nutrient-dense foods, white rice is a missed opportunity to nourish bones. The fix: swap white rice for whole grains like quinoa, brown rice or farro, which are rich in magnesium and fibre. Helen switched to quinoa with vegetables, and her bone density scans showed improvement within a year. Her energy stabilised, and she felt stronger. If you love rice, choose whole grain varieties and pair with calcium-rich greens. Your bones need nourishment, not empty carbs. 6. What should you do instead? By now you're seeing the pattern. Foods you thought were harmless, like soda, salty snacks, red meat, coffee or white rice, can silently weaken your bones. But here's the empowering truth. You can rebuild and protect your skeleton with smarter choices. I met Charles, an 80-year-old veteran from Illinois, who feared he'd never walk confidently again after a stress fracture. Charles loved his daily cola, chips and steak, but his bones were crumbling. After a fall, he was terrified of losing his independence. His story isn't unique. Many seniors unknowingly eat foods that erode their skeletal strength. But Charles turned it around, and so can you. First, prioritize calcium-rich foods. Dairy like yogurt or cheese, fortified plant milks, or leafy greens like kale and collards. Vitamin D is crucial. Get it from fatty fish, egg yolks, or sunlight exposure. Magnesium, found in nuts, seeds, and whole grains, supports bone structure. Charles started eating salmon, almonds, and quinoa, cutting out soda and salty snacks. Second, balance protein in and intake. Too much animal protein is acidic, but too little starves your bones. Aim for a mix of lean meats, fish, and plant-based proteins like lentils. Charles limited red meat to once a week and added beans to his meals. His bone density stabilized and he walked without pain. Third, move your body. Weight-bearing exercises like walking, dancing, or light strength training stimulate bone growth. Even 10 minutes a day makes a difference. Charles started chair-based exercises, and within months he felt steadier. Your bones thrive on movement and nutrition working together. 7. The silent mistake. Weakening seniors' bones. The biggest mistake seniors make. Trusting healthy labels without understanding how aging changes your body's needs. After 60, your bones lose density faster. Your kidneys struggle to retain calcium and inflammation builds more easily. Foods like soda, salty snacks, red meat, coffee, or white rice, which seemed fine in your 40s, now tip the scales toward fragility. This damage isn't sudden. It's gradual, silent, and relentless. You don't feel your bones weakening until a fall or fracture steals your mobility. I've seen patients like Charles, Dorothy, and Helen lose confidence, not because of age, but because of dietary habits they could have changed. The hope? You can stop this decline today. Swap bone-draining foods for nutrient-dense options. Work with your doctor to monitor bone density and adjust your diet or supplements. Small changes, like cutting soda, choosing whole grains, or limiting coffee, can rebuild your skeletal strength and reduce fracture risk. Your bones carry you through life, your travels, your hobbies, your independence. Protecting them isn't just about avoiding breaks, it's about preserving your freedom. Charles now walks his dog daily, smiling with confidence. You can too, with knowledge and action. So, what's your next step? Reflect on one change you'll make, maybe ditching soda or trying quinoa. Share it in the comments to inspire others. Type 1 if this guide was helpful, or 0 if you want different content. Let's protect your bones and keep you strong for years to come. The hidden dangers in your kitchen. Everyday foods that could harm your heart. After 60, as we age, the choices we make at the dining table carry more weight than ever before. For those over 60, every bite can either nourish or undermine the heart you've relied on for decades. You may think you're eating healthily, loading up on vegetables, cutting back on processed foods, and following the advice of countless health articles. But what if some of the foods you trust most, the ones you've been told are heart healthy, are quietly working against you? What if the vegetables and staples in your fridge are contributing to blood pressure spikes, dangerous medication interactions, or even silent inflammation that erodes your heart's strength? As a cardiologist who has spent over 30 years treating seniors, I've seen too many patients sabotage their health with foods they believed were safe. In this detailed exploration, I'll reveal 9 everyday foods, many of which are celebrated as healthy. That could be putting your heart at risk. More importantly, I'll show you how to avoid these dangers and protect the heart that's carried you this far. If you find this information valuable, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to stay updated on health tips tailored for you. In the comments, let me know how this resonates. Type 1 if you're learning something new, or 0 if you'd like me to dive deeper into a specific area. Let's begin with a food that's often hailed as a nutritional superstar, but can pose serious risks for seniors on certain medications. 1. Kale, the superfood that could sabotage your medications. Kale has been crowned the king of greens, packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and fibre. It's the darling of smoothie recipes and salad bowls, celebrated for its ability to lower cholesterol and support heart health. For younger people, kale is often a fantastic choice. But for seniors, especially those on blood thinners like warfarin, kale can be a silent saboteur. I once treated a patient named Margaret, a 68-year-old retiree who prided herself on her healthy lifestyle. She walked daily, avoided processed foods, and blended kale smoothies every morning. But when she came to my clinic, she was pale, fatigued, and experiencing dizziness. Her blood tests revealed a dangerous issue. Her warfarin, prescribed to prevent strokes after a heart arrhythmia diagnosis, was barely working. The culprit? Kale's high vitamin K content. Vitamin K is essential for blood clotting, but it directly counteracts warfarin's blood-thinning effects. When you eat large or inconsistent amounts of kale, your medication's effectiveness can fluctuate wildly, leaving you vulnerable to blood clots or strokes. Margaret's smoothie habit, which she thought was protecting her heart, was quietly dismantling her treatment plan. The danger isn't just in smoothies. Kale salads, sautéed kale, or even kale chips can cause problems if consumed irregularly or in large quantities. The key is consistency. If you're on warfarin, sudden changes in vitamin K intake, whether from kale, spinach, or other leafy greens, can disrupt your body's delicate balance. Without warning signs, you might not realize the danger until a clot forms or a stroke strikes. Margaret's story had a happy ending. We adjusted her diet to include smaller, consistent portions of kale and monitored her blood levels closely. But not everyone is so fortunate. If you're on blood thinners, talk to your doctor before making kale a staple. The line between healthy and harmful is thinner than you think, especially after 60, when your body doesn't adapt as quickly as it once did. Chapter 2. Canned vegetables. The sodium trap you didn't see me coming. Canned vegetables seem like a convenient, heart-healthy choice. They're affordable, long-lasting, and packed with nutrients. Whether it's green beans, corn, or peas, they're often marketed as a wholesome alternative to fresh produce. But for seniors, canned vegetables can be a hidden sodium bomb that wreaks havoc on your heart. Take the case of Robert, a 74-year-old widower who came to my clinic with stubbornly high blood pressure despite taking his medications religiously. He had given up fast food, cut back on salty snacks, and thought he was eating cleanly by incorporating canned vegetables into his daily meals. But when we reviewed his diet, the problem was clear. A single serving of canned green beans contained nearly 800 milligrams of sodium, over half the American Heart Association's recommended daily limit of 1,500 milligrams for seniors. Sodium is a silent killer for aging hearts. It draws water into your bloodstream, increasing blood volume and forcing your heart to work harder. Over time, this leads to hypertension, arterial stiffness, and an increased risk of heart failure. For seniors whose kidneys are less efficient at filtering sodium and whose blood vessels are less elastic, even small amounts of excess salt can tip the scales toward disaster. The worst part, sodium's effects are insidious. You don't feel the damage as it happens. There's no pain, no warning light, just a slow erosion of your heart's strength. Robert was shocked to learn that his healthy canned vegetables were contributing to his condition. By switching to low sodium or fresh alternatives and flavouring his meals with herbs like thyme and rosemary, he saw his blood pressure stabilise within weeks. Check the labels on canned goods. Even those marked healthy or low-fat can hide dangerous levels of sodium. Opt for fresh or frozen vegetables when possible, and if you must use canned, rinse them thoroughly to remove excess salt. Your heart deserves that extra effort. 3. Beets, the potassium powerhouse that could throw your heart off rhythm. Beets are often praised for their vibrant colour, earthy flavour, and heart-healthy nutrients like folate and manganese. They're a staple in salads and juices, touted for their ability to lower blood pressure. But for seniors on certain heart medications, beets can be a double-edged sword due to their high potassium content. I treated a patient named Susan, a 71-year-old grandmother who loved her daily beet juice. She was on a potassium-sparing diuretic to manage fluid retention from heart failure. When she started feeling weak and experiencing irregular heartbeats, she assumed it was just aging, but blood tests revealed dangerously high potassium levels, a condition called hyperkalemia, which can disrupt heart rhythm and, in severe cases, lead to cardiac arrest. Potassium is critical for heart function, but too much or too little can throw your heart's electrical system into chaos. Seniors on diuretics, ACE inhibitors, or other heart medications are especially vulnerable to these imbalances. Beets, along with other potassium-rich foods like bananas and avocados, can push your levels too high if you're not careful, especially if your kidneys aren't filtering efficiently. Susan's case was a wake-up call. We reduced her beet intake, monitored her potassium levels, and adjusted her medication. Within weeks, her heart rhythm stabilized and her energy returned. The lesson? Even superfoods require moderation and medical guidance. If you're on heart medications, discuss high potassium foods with your doctor and get regular blood tests to ensure your levels stay safe. 4. Raw celery, the crunchy culprit behind blood pressure. Spikes. Celery is often hailed as a low-calorie, heart-healthy snack, perfect for dipping or adding crunch to salads. Its high water content and fibre make it a go-to for weight management and digestion. But for seniors, especially those with sensitive digestive systems or hypertension, raw celery can pose unexpected risks. Celery contains compounds called psoralen, which can irritate the digestive tract in some people, particularly when eaten raw in large amounts. For seniors with slower digestion or conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, this can lead to bloating and gas, which may mimic heart-related symptoms like chest pressure. More concerning, celery is naturally high in sodium compared to other vegetables. A single stalk can contain up to 50 milliliters of sodium, which adds up quickly if you're eating multiple stalks as a snack. I recall a patient, James, a 69-year-old retiree who snacked on celery daily to manage his weight. He was also on blood pressure medication, but noticed his readings creeping up. His food journal revealed he was consuming 5 to 6 celery stalks a day, unknowingly adding significant sodium to his diet. Combined with his medication, the bloating from celery was putting pressure on his diaphragm, contributing to a sense of breathlessness that alarmed him. Cooking celery can reduce its psoralen content and make it easier to digest, but it doesn't eliminate the sodium. For seniors, the key is moderation. James cut back to 1 or 2 stalks a day, incorporated more low-sodium vegetables like zucchini, and saw his blood pressure stabilize. If you love celery's crunch, try pairing it with heart-friendly dips like hummus in small amounts, and always monitor how your body responds. 5. Mushrooms, the fungi that could fuel inflammation. Mushrooms are a favorite for their umami flavor and low-calorie profile, often used in stir-fries, soups, or as a meat substitute. They're rich in antioxidants and B vitamins, making them a darling of plant-based diets. But for some seniors, mushrooms, particularly when eaten raw or undercooked, can trigger inflammation that strains the heart. Mushrooms contain a compound called chitin, a type of fibre that's difficult for aging digestive systems to break down. This can lead to bloating, gas and discomfort, which, as we've seen with other foods, can mimic cardiac symptoms. More concerning, certain mushrooms like cremini or portobello can trigger inflammatory responses in sensitive individuals, particularly those with autoimmune conditions or chronic inflammation. This low-grade inflammation can stress blood vessels, increasing the risk of plaque buildup and heart strain. I treated a patient named Linda, a 76-year-old artist who loved adding raw mushrooms to her salads. She came to me with fatigue and chest tightness, which she feared was a heart issue, After ruling out cardiac events, we traced her symptoms to her daily mushroom intake, which was inflaming her already sensitive system. By switching to cooked mushrooms in smaller portions and incorporating anti-inflammatory vegetables like sweet potatoes, her symptoms eased significantly. If you enjoy mushrooms, cook them thoroughly to break down chitin and reduce potential inflammation. Limit portion sizes, and if you have autoimmune issues or heart disease, discuss mushrooms with your doctor to ensure they're safe for you. Raw bell peppers, the colourful veggie that could stress your heart. Bell peppers, red, yellow or green, are a vibrant addition to salads, stir-fries and snacks. They're rich in vitamin C and antioxidants, often praised for their heart protective qualities. But for seniors, particularly those with digestive sensitivities or heart conditions, raw bell peppers can pose risks due to their high fibre content and nightshade compounds. Like eggplant, bell peppers belong to the nightshade family and contain solanine, which can trigger inflammation in sensitive individuals. For seniors with arthritis or vascular inflammation, this can exacerbate joint pain and arterial stress, putting extra strain on the heart. Additionally, the tough, fibrous skin of raw bell peppers can be hard to digest, leading to bloating and gas that may press on the diaphragm and mimic heart-related discomfort. I once treated a patient, Henry, a 70-year-old golfer who loved raw bell peppers in his daily salads. He started experiencing chest discomfort and irregular heartbeats, which he feared were signs of a heart attack. After a thorough evaluation, we found that the bloating from raw peppers was irritating his vagus nerve, disrupting his heart rhythm. By switching to roasted or cooked peppers, which are easier to digest and lower in solanine, Henry's symptoms disappeared. If you love bell peppers, opt for cooked versions to reduce their inflammatory potential and ease digestion. Monitor your symptoms, and if you notice discomfort after eating them, talk to your doctor about possible sensitivities. 7. Sauerkraut, the fermented food that could overload your heart. Fermented foods like sauerkraut are celebrated for their gut health benefits, packed with probiotics and fibre. For seniors looking to improve digestion, sauerkraut seems like a smart choice. But its high sodium content and potential to disrupt digestion can make it a risky addition for those with heart conditions. A single half-cup serving of sauerkraut can contain over 900 milliliters of sodium, nearly 2/3 of the daily recommended limit for seniors. This sodium load can spike blood pressure and strain the heart, especially in those with hypertension or heart failure. Additionally, the fermentation process can produce histamines, which may trigger inflammation or allergic-like reactions in sensitive individuals, further stressing the cardiovascular system. I treated a patient named Clara, a 73-year-old who added sauerkraut to her meals daily, thinking it would aid digestion. Instead, she experienced bloating, chest tightness and elevated blood pressure. By reducing her sauerkraut intake and switching to low-sodium probiotic sources like plain yogurt, her symptoms improved and her heart was under less strain. If you enjoy fermented foods, choose low-sodium versions and consume them in moderation. Pair them with heart-friendly foods like cooked greens to balance their effects, and always check with your doctor if you're managing heart conditions. 8. Raw carrots, The crunchy snack that could strain your digestion, carrots are a go-to snack for their crunch, sweetness and beta-carotene content. They're low in calories and high in fibre, making them a favourite for weight management and eye health. But for seniors, eating raw carrots in large amounts can strain digestion and indirectly affect the heart. Raw carrots are high in insoluble fibre, which can be tough on ageing digestive systems. This can lead to bloating, gas and pressure that may mimic heart-related symptoms, especially in those with sensitive stomachs or conditions like diverticulitis. For seniors with heart conditions, this digestive stress can exacerbate symptoms like palpitations or breathlessness by irritating the vagus nerve. I recall a patient, Thomas, a 67-year-old who snacked on raw carrots daily to control his weight. He started experiencing chest discomfort and irregular heartbeats, which he feared were cardiac issues. After reviewing his diet, we found that the carrots were causing significant bloating, which was affecting his heart rhythm. By switching to steamed carrots, which are easier to digest, his symptoms resolved. If you love carrots, try cooking them to soften their fibre and reduce digestive strain. Pair them with heart-healthy fats like olive oil to enhance nutrient absorption and monitor how your body responds. 9. Tomatoes. The nightshade that could ignite inflammation. Tomatoes are a dietary staple found in sauces, salads and soups. They're rich in lycopene, an antioxidant linked to heart health. But as a nightshade vegetable, tomatoes contain solanine, which can trigger inflammation in sensitive seniors, particularly those with arthritis or vascular issues. This inflammation can stress blood vessels, increase plaque buildup and strain the heart over time. I treated a patient named Diane, a 75-year-old who loved fresh tomatoes in her daily salads. She started noticing joint pain, fatigue and occasional chest tightness. After ruling out other causes, we identified her tomato consumption as a potential trigger for low-grade inflammation, which was exacerbating her vascular issues. By reducing raw tomatoes and incorporating cooked versions, which have lower solanine levels, her symptoms improved. If you enjoy tomatoes, opt for cooked forms like sauces or stews to reduce their inflammatory potential. Monitor for signs of sensitivity, such as joint pain or fatigue, and discuss with your doctor if you have heart or inflammatory conditions. Empowering your heart. What to eat instead. After exploring these 9 foods, from kale to tomatoes, you may wonder what's safe for your aging heart. The good news is that you don't have to fear food. The key is to choose heart-friendly options that complement your medications and support your body's changing needs. Here are a few tips. Opt for cooked vegetables. Cooking reduces tough fibres, neutralizes harmful compounds, and makes nutrients more accessible. Try steamed zucchini, roasted sweet potatoes, or sautéed spinach in consistent portions. Choose low-sodium options. Fresh or frozen vegetables are better than canned. If using canned, rinse thoroughly to remove excess sodium. Balance potassium. Work with your doctor to monitor potassium levels, especially if you're on diuretics or other heart medications. Safe choices include cooked carrots or green beans in moderation. Embrace heart-healthy flavours. Use herbs like basil, thyme, and rosemary to add flavour without sodium or inflammatory compounds. Monitor and communicate. Track how your body responds to new foods and discuss changes with your doctor, especially if you're on medications. Your heart has carried you through decades of life, and it deserves care that evolves with you. By understanding the hidden risks in everyday foods and making informed choices, you can protect your heart and live with vitality. Share one thing you've learned from this in the comments below. Type 1 if you found this helpful, or 0 if you'd like more clarity. Let's keep the conversation going to support each other in living stronger, longer, and healthier. The silent saboteurs in your kitchen. Everyday foods that could harm your heart. After 60, as you cross the threshold of 60, every bite you take carries more weight than ever before. The foods you have trusted for decades, those vibrant fruits, wholesome grains, and even the simplest beverages, may no longer be the allies they once were. For seniors, what you eat isn't just about nourishment, it's about protecting a heart that's been beating faithfully for over 2 billion times. As a cardiologist with over 30 years of experience treating older adults, I've seen countless patients, good, health-conscious people, unwittingly harm their hearts with foods they believed were safe. These aren't the obvious culprits like fried foods or sugary desserts. I'm talking about the everyday staples you find in your fridge or pantry. Fruits, grains, and drinks marketed as healthy but capable of spiking blood sugar, raising blood pressure, or clashing with life-saving medications. In this comprehensive guide, I'll reveal 9 foods that could be quietly undermining your heart health after 60, along with practical steps to protect the organ that's carried you this far. If you find this information valuable, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to stay updated on health tips tailored for you. In the comments, share your thoughts. Type yums 1 if you're learning something new, or 0 if you'd like me to dive deeper into a specific topic. Let's begin with a fruit that's often hailed as a heart-healthy staple, but can pose serious risks for seniors on certain medications. 1. Bananas, the potassium powerhouse that could disrupt your heart's rhythm. Bananas are a symbol of health, portable, naturally sweet, and packed with potassium, which is vital for heart function. For years, you've been told they're a perfect snack, great for blood pressure and muscle health. But for seniors over 60, particularly those on blood pressure medications like ACE inhibitors, lisinopril, or potassium-sparing diuretics, e.g. spironolactone, bananas can become a silent threat. I once treated a patient named John, a 72-year-old retiree who loved his morning banana with oatmeal. He was diligent about his health, taking his medications for hypertension and walking daily. But when he came to my clinic complaining of dizziness and irregular heartbeats, we discovered his potassium levels were dangerously high, a condition called hyperkalemia. A single medium banana contains about 420 milligrams of potassium, and when combined with medications that increase potassium retention, it can push your levels into a danger zone. Hyperkalemia can cause muscle weakness, fatigue, and, in severe cases, life-threatening arrhythmias or cardiac arrest. John's story is not uncommon. After 60, your kidneys become less efficient at filtering potassium, and your heart grows more sensitive to imbalances. The extra potassium from a daily banana can disrupt the electrical signals that keep your heart beating steadily. The scariest part? There are often no obvious symptoms until the damage is done. John felt fine until the dizziness hit, and without intervention, his condition could have escalated to a cardiac emergency. The solution isn't to ban bananas entirely, but to consume them with caution. If you're on potassium-affecting medications, talk to your doctor about safe portion sizes, perhaps half a banana a few times a week. Pair it with low-potassium fruits like berries to balance your intake. Knowledge is your best defense. By understanding how bananas interact with your body and medications, you can enjoy their benefits without risking your heart. Dried apricots, the sweet snack that packs a sugar punch. Dried apricots are a favorite among seniors for their chewy texture and natural sweetness. They're marketed as a healthy alternative to candy, rich in fiber, vitamin A, and antioxidants. But for those over 60, particularly with diabetes or heart disease, dried apricots can be a sugar bomb in disguise, capable of wreaking havoc on your cardiovascular system. A small handful of dried apricots, about 6 pieces, contains over 20 grams of sugar, concentrated because the drying process removes water but leaves the sugars behind. Unlike fresh apricots, which have fiber to slow sugar absorption, dried apricots deliver a rapid glucose spike. For seniors with reduced insulin sensitivity, this can lead to inflammation, arterial stress, and increased risk of heart attack or stroke. The high potassium content, around 500 milliliters per serving, also poses a risk for those on potassium-sparing medications, as we saw with bananas. I recall a patient, Mary, a 69-year-old who snacked on dried apricots daily, thinking they were a heart-smart choice. She came to me with elevated blood sugar and triglycerides, despite managing her type 2 diabetes carefully. Her afternoon apricot habit was spiking her glucose, inflaming her arteries, and putting undue stress on her heart. We switched her to fresh apricots in moderation, paired with a small handful of nuts to stabilize blood sugar. Within weeks, her labs improved and she felt more energized. If you love dried fruit, opt for fresh versions or limit dried apricots to a few pieces, paired with protein or fat to slow absorption. Check with your doctor if you're on medications that affect potassium or blood sugar. After 60, even healthy snacks require scrutiny to protect your heart. 3. Orange juice, the morning staple that could spike your heart's workload. Orange juice is practically synonymous with a healthy breakfast, celebrated for its vitamin C and refreshing taste. For decades, it's been marketed as a heart-protective drink, boosting immunity and vitality. But for seniors over 60, that daily glass of orange juice could be a silent saboteur, delivering a sugar rush that strains your heart. An 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains about 25 grams of sugar, mostly fructose, which hits your bloodstream quickly because juice lacks the fiber of whole fruit. For an aging body with reduced insulin sensitivity and stiffer blood vessels, this sugar spike triggers inflammation, elevates triglycerides, and increases blood pressure. Over time, these effects contribute to plaque buildup, arterial stiffness, and a higher risk of heart failure. For seniors with diabetes or pre-diabetes, the impact is even more pronounced. I treated a patient named Helen, a 74-year-old who drank orange juice every morning, believing it was boosting her health. She came to my clinic with fatigue, shortness of breath, and elevated blood pressure, despite taking her medications. Her blood test showed high triglycerides and unstable glucose levels. The culprit? That daily juice was flooding her system with sugar, overworking her heart. We replaced it with water infused with fresh lemon or a small serving of whole oranges, and her symptoms improved significantly. If you enjoy citrus, eat whole oranges or tangerines, which provide fiber to slow sugar absorption. If you must drink juice, dilute it with water and limit it to 4 ounces, paired with a protein-rich breakfast. Your heart will thank you for the lighter workload. 4. Mangoes, the tropical treat that could overload your system. Mangoes are a tropical delight, loved for their juicy sweetness and vibrant color. They're rich in vitamins A and C, often praised for their antioxidant benefits. But for seniors over 60, especially those with diabetes or kidney issues, mangoes can deliver a sugar and potassium load that's hard for an aging body to handle. A single cup of mango contains about 23 grams of sugar and 250 milligrams of potassium. While these nutrients are beneficial in moderation, large portions can spike blood sugar and strain kidneys, particularly in those on medications like ACE inhibitors or diuretics. The rapid glucose surge can inflame blood vessels, while excess potassium can disrupt heart rhythm, especially if kidney function is compromised. I once treated a patient, Carlos, a 70-year-old who loved mango smoothies in the summer. He came to me with palpitations and fatigue, despite managing his hypertension well. His blood tests showed elevated potassium and glucose levels, which were stressing his heart. By cutting back to small mango portions and pairing them with yogurt to slow sugar absorption, we stabilized his condition. Enjoy mangoes sparingly, perhaps a quarter cup mixed with low-sugar fruits like berries. If you're on heart or kidney medications, consult your doctor to ensure your potassium intake is safe. Moderation is key to keeping this tropical fruit from becoming a heart hazard. 5. Grapefruit, the medication, mischief maker. Grapefruit is a breakfast classic, praised for its low calories and high vitamin C content. It's often recommended for weight loss and heart health. But for seniors over 60, grapefruit is a pharmacological wildcard that can dangerously interfere with common heart medications. Grapefruit contains furanocoumarins, compounds that inhibit the liver enzyme CYP3A4, which metabolizes many medications, including statins, e.g. atorvastatin, calcium channel blockers, and antiarrhythmics. When this enzyme is blocked, medications stay in your bloodstream longer, increasing their potency and risk of side effects like low blood pressure, muscle damage, or irregular heartbeats. I treated a patient, Robert, an 80-year-old on statins and blood pressure medication. He added grapefruit to his breakfast, thinking it was a healthy choice. Weeks later, he experienced muscle pain and dizziness. Blood tests revealed statin toxicity due to grapefruit's interference. We eliminated grapefruit and his symptoms resolved. If you're on medications metabolized by CYP3A4, avoid grapefruit entirely unless cleared by your doctor. Safer alternatives include apples or berries, which offer similar nutritional benefits without the risks. Always check with your pharmacist about food-drug interactions. X. Canned pineapple, the sweet trap in syrup. Canned pineapple is a convenient sweet addition to desserts, salads, or snacks. Marketed as a healthy fruit option, it's a staple for many seniors. But the added sugar in syrup-packed cans can turn this tropical treat into a heart health hazard. A half-cup serving of canned pineapple in heavy syrup can contain over 20 grams of added sugar, equivalent to a sugary dessert. This rapid sugar spike strains an aging metabolism, causing inflammation and increasing cardiovascular risk. Even light syrup or juice-packed options often hide added sugars, and the high glycemic load can destabilize blood sugar in seniors with diabetes or pre-diabetes. I recall a patient, Susan, a 76-year-old who ate canned pineapple daily as a healthy dessert. Her blood sugar and triglycerides were elevated, contributing to her heart strain. Switching to fresh pineapple in small portions, paired with protein, helped stabilize her levels. Choose fresh or frozen pineapple and rinse canned versions thoroughly if you must use them. Limit portions to a quarter cup and pair with nuts or yogurt to balance the sugar load. Your heart deserves careful choices, not hidden sugars. Pomegranates, the antioxidant star that could overwhelm your system. Pomegranates are celebrated for their antioxidant power, linked to reduced inflammation and heart protection. But their high sugar content and potential to interact with medications make them a risky choice for some seniors. A cup of pomegranate seeds contains about 24 grams of sugar, which can spike glucose levels in those with insulin resistance. Additionally, pomegranate juice can interfere with medications like statins or blood thinners, similar to grapefruit, by affecting liver enzymes. I treated a patient, Linda, a 71-year-old who drank pomegranate juice daily for its heart benefits. She experienced dizziness and irregular heartbeats, which we traced to her juice interacting with her statin. Switching to whole fruits like apples resolved her symptoms. Enjoy pomegranates in small amounts, such as a tablespoon of seeds sprinkled on yogurt. Avoid juice and consult your doctor if you're on medications. Balance is critical to harnessing their benefits safely. 8. Dates. The natural sweetener that could spike your heart stress are a popular natural sweetener. often used in smoothies or desserts as a healthy alternative to sugar. But their concentrated sugar content, about 20 grams per 2 dates, can be a heart health risk for seniors. The rapid glucose spike from dates can inflame blood vessels and stress the heart, particularly in those with diabetes or hypertension. Their sticky texture also poses a dental health risk, which can indirectly affect heart health by promoting inflammation from oral infections. A patient, George, a 73-year-old, used dates to sweeten his oatmeal, thinking they were heart healthy. His elevated blood sugar and triglycerides were contributing to his heart strain. We limited dates to 1 per day, paired with fibre-rich foods, and his labs improved. Use dates sparingly and pair them with nuts or seeds to slow sugar absorption. Opt for fresh fruits like berries for sweetness without the intense glucose hit. 9. Coconut water, the hydrating drink that could throw your heart off balance. Coconut water is marketed as a natural hydrator, rich in electrolytes like potassium. But for seniors, its high potassium content, about 600 milliliters per cup, can be dangerous, especially for those on potassium-sparing medications or with kidney issues. I treated a patient, Diane, a 68-year-old, who drank coconut water daily for hydration. Her palpitations and fatigue were linked to hyperkalemia, exacerbated by her diuretic. Switching to plain water with a splash of lemon stabilized her condition. Limit coconut water to small amounts, and consult your doctor if you're on heart or kidney medications. Plain water or herbal teas are safer hydration options. Empowering your heart, safe choices for seniors. After uncovering these 9 foods, you might feel overwhelmed, wondering what's safe to eat. The good news is that you can nourish your heart with delicious, heart-friendly foods that complement your medications and support your aging body. Here's how. Choose low glycemic fruits. Berries, apples and pears are low in sugar and high in fibre, supporting stable blood sugar and heart health. Cook for digestibility. Lightly cooking fruits like apples or pears reduces digestive strain and microbial risks. Balance with protein and fat. Pair fruits with nuts, yogurt or cheese to slow sugar absorption and stabilize energy. Monitor potassium. Work with your doctor to track potassium levels if you're on heart medications. Safe choices include strawberries or peaches in moderation. Avoid fruit juices. Opt for whole fruits to retain fiber and avoid sugar spikes. Check for interactions. Discuss your diet with your doctor or pharmacist, especially if you're on medications like statins or blood thinners. Your heart has been your steadfast companion, beating through every moment of your life. Now it's asking for your attention, not fear, but wisdom. By making informed choices, you can protect your heart and live with vitality. Share one thing you've learned in the comments. Type 1 if this was helpful, or 0 for more clarity. Let's support each other in living stronger, longer and healthier. Disclaimer: Grok is not a doctor. Please consult one. Don't share information that can identify you. The quiet threats in your medicine cabinet. Everyday supplements that could harm your heart. After 60s. As you step into your sun and beyond, every pill you swallow, every vitamin you trust, and every supplement you take carries more significance than ever before. For seniors, these choices aren't just about boosting energy or warding off colds. They're about safeguarding a heart that's been beating tirelessly for decades. You've likely spent years believing that supplements are a shortcut to health, a way to compensate for an aging body or a less than perfect diet. But what if I told you that some of the most common supplements in your cabinet, ones marketed as heart healthy or essential, could be silently undermining your cardiovascular system? As a cardiologist with over 30 years of experience, I've seen too many patients, active, health-conscious seniors, suffer from heart rhythm issues, blood pressure spikes, or even organ damage, all because of supplements they thought were safe. In this detailed guide, I'll reveal 9 everyday supplements that could be putting your heart at risk after 60, along with practical steps to protect your most vital organ. If this information resonates with you, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to stay updated on health tips tailored for seniors. In the comments, share your thoughts. Type 1 if you're learning something new, or 0 if you'd like me to dive deeper into a specific topic. Let's start with a supplement that's been hailed as a heart protector, but can pose serious risks for seniors on certain medications. 1. Vitamin E, the antioxidant that can thin your blood. Dangerously. Vitamin E has long been celebrated as an anti-aging powerhouse, packed into capsules and multivitamins, with promises of protecting cells, boosting immunity, and supporting heart health. For years, it's been a staple in senior wellness routines, trusted to keep arteries flexible and hearts strong. But for those over 60, especially if you're on blood thinners like warfarin or aspirin, high doses of vitamin E can turn from ally to enemy, quietly increasing your risk of bleeding and heart strain. I once treated a patient named Susan, a 70-year-old retiree who took pride in her active lifestyle. She walked daily, ate a balanced diet, and supplemented with 800 IU of vitamin E daily, believing it would protect her heart. But when she came to my clinic with unexplained bruises, nosebleeds, and dizziness, we discovered a dangerous issue. Her blood was too thin, a side effect of vitamin E interacting with her low-dose aspirin. At doses above 400 IU per day, vitamin E acts as a potent anticoagulant, which can lead to excessive bleeding, particularly in seniors whose blood vessels are more fragile and whose livers process supplements more slowly. Susan's case wasn't unique. After 60, your body's ability to handle excess vitamin E diminishes, and the risk of internal bleeding, whether in the stomach, brain, or heart lining, rises. The early signs, like bruising or fatigue, are often dismissed as aging, but they can signal a slow-building crisis. Left unchecked, this could lead to a hemorrhagic stroke or heart complications that are hard to reverse. The solution isn't to avoid vitamin E entirely, but to consume it cautiously. Most seniors get enough from foods like almonds, sunflower seeds, or spinach. If you're on blood thinners or have heart conditions, consult your doctor before taking vitamin E supplements, and always check labels to avoid hidden doses in multivitamins. Susan stopped her supplement and her symptoms resolved, but her story is a reminder. Even heart-healthy vitamins can harm if not used wisely. 2. Vitamin A. The vision protector that can harden your arteries. Vitamin A is synonymous with sharp eyesight and radiant skin, often found in multivitamins or cod liver oil supplements marketed to seniors. It's easy to believe that more vitamin A means better health, especially for aging eyes. But for seniors over 60, excessive vitamin A can accumulate in the body, leading to liver strain and cardiovascular damage that's hard to detect until it's too late. A patient named Richard, a 77-year-old former engineer, came to me with fatigue, joint pain, and irregular heartbeats. He'd been taking a high-potency multivitamin and cod liver oil, both rich in vitamin A, for years. Blood tests revealed toxic levels of retinol, the active form of vitamin A, which was stressing his liver and contributing to arterial calcification. Unlike water-soluble vitamins, vitamin A is fat-soluble, meaning it builds up in your liver over time. At doses above 3,000 mcg, 10,000 IU daily, it can raise blood calcium levels, hardening arteries and increasing the risk of heart attack or stroke. After 60, your liver and kidneys are less efficient at clearing excess vitamin A, and your arteries are more susceptible to damage. The symptoms, fatigue, dry skin or palpitations, are often mistaken for normal aging, allowing the harm to continue unnoticed. Richard's multivitamin and cod liver oil were delivering far more vitamin A than he needed, and his diet of carrots and sweet potatoes was already sufficient. We discontinued his supplements and focused on beta-carotene-rich foods, which the body converts to vitamin A only as needed. His symptoms eased, and his heart rhythm stabilized. If you're taking vitamin A supplements, check your total intake, including multivitamins, and consult your doctor. Natural sources like leafy greens or orange vegetables are safer and heart-friendly. 3. Calcium, the bone builder that can clog your arteries. Calcium supplements are a reflex for many seniors, especially those concerned about osteoporosis. With vitamin D often paired alongside, these pills are marketed as essential for strong bones and active aging. But for those over 60, excessive calcium, particularly without proper balance, can end up in your arteries instead of your bones, silently increasing your risk of heart disease. I treated a patient named Barbara, a 73-year-old who took 200 milligrams of calcium daily alongside 2,000 IU of vitamin D to prevent fractures. She came to my clinic with chest discomfort and shortness of breath. Tests revealed vascular calcification, calcium deposits in her arteries, making them stiff and forcing her heart to work harder. Studies show that supplemental calcium, especially above 1,000 milligrams daily, without vitamin K2 to direct it to bones, can contribute to arterial plaque, raising the risk of heart attack or heart failure. After 60, your kidneys struggle to regulate excess calcium, and your arteries are more prone to inflammation, creating a perfect storm for calcification. Barbara's high-dose vitamin D was amplifying calcium absorption, worsening the problem. We reduced her supplement dose, added vitamin K to rich foods like kale, and incorporated calcium from dairy and greens. Her symptoms improved and her heart strain lessened. If you're taking calcium, ensure it's balanced with magnesium and vitamin K2 and aim for 500–800 milligrams daily from food and supplements combined. Check your kidney function and consult your doctor to avoid overloading your heart. 4. Niacin, vitamin B3. The cholesterol fix that can disrupt your heart. Niacin, or vitamin B3, has been touted as a natural way to lower bad cholesterol and boost good cholesterol, appealing to seniors wary of statins. Found in high doses in over-the-counter supplements, it's often taken without medical oversight. But for those over 60, high-dose niacin can trigger liver damage, blood sugar spikes, and dangerous heart rhythms. A patient named Thomas, a 75-year-old retiree, started taking 1,000 milligrams of extended-release niacin after reading about its cholesterol benefits. He came to me with facial flushing, dizziness, and a racing heartbeat. Blood tests showed elevated liver enzymes, and his EKG revealed atrial fibrillation, a condition linked to niacin's ability to disrupt heart rhythm at doses above 500 milligrams. After 60, your liver is less resilient, and your heart is more sensitive to inflammation, making niacin side effects particularly risky. Thomas thought he was avoiding pharmaceuticals, but niacin at high doses acts like a drug, not a vitamin. It can also raise blood sugar, worsening diabetes control, and interact with blood pressure medications. We stopped his niacin, managed his arrhythmia, and focused on dietary cholesterol control. His symptoms resolved, but the scare was a wake-up call. If you're considering niacin, stick to low doses, under 50 milligrams, found in food or multivitamins, and consult your doctor for cholesterol management. The American Heart Association no longer recommends high-dose niacin due to its risks outweighing benefits in seniors. 5. Vitamin C, the immune hero that can strain your kidneys and heart. Vitamin C is a household staple taken by millions to fend off colds or boost vitality. Its reputation as a safe, water-soluble vitamin makes it seem harmless, even at high doses. But for seniors over 60, megadoses of vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams or more daily, can harm kidneys, harden blood vessels, and indirectly stress the heart. I treated a patient named Edward, an 80-year-old who took 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily to stay healthy. He came to me with back pain and fatigue, which tests linked to calcium oxalate kidney stones, a known risk of excessive vitamin C. His blood vessels also showed early signs of calcification, likely due to elevated oxalate levels. After 60, Your kidneys are less efficient at clearing excess vitamin C, which converts to oxalate, promoting stones and vascular damage. This can raise blood pressure and strain the heart. Edward's symptoms were subtle, joint pain and tiredness, but signalled a deeper issue. We reduced his vitamin C to 100 milligrams daily from food like oranges and broccoli, and his kidney function improved. If you take vitamin C, stick to 75-90 milligrams daily from diet or low-dose supplements, and avoid megadoses unless prescribed. Check with your doctor if you have kidney issues. 6. Magnesium, the calming mineral. That can unbalance your heart. Magnesium is marketed as a cure-all for sleep, cramps and stress, popular among seniors for its relaxation benefits. But for those over 60, the wrong type or dose of magnesium can disrupt electrolytes, lower blood pressure dangerously, and trigger heart rhythm issues. A patient named Margaret, a 78-year-old, took 500 milliliters of magnesium oxide daily for constipation. She arrived at my clinic with dizziness and palpitations. Tests showed low potassium and sodium levels, caused by magnesium-induced diarrhea, which dehydrated her and disrupted her heart's electrical signals. After 60, your kidneys struggle to balance minerals, and forms like magnesium oxide, poorly absorbed, can cause digestive chaos, affecting heart function indirectly. We switched Margaret to magnesium glycinate in a lower dose, 200 mg, and increased her intake of magnesium-rich foods like spinach. Her symptoms resolved. If you take magnesium, choose citrate or glycinate. Keep doses under 350 mg and consult your doctor, especially if you have kidney issues or take heart medications. 7. Vitamin B6, the nerve protector that can numb your body. Vitamin B6 is prized for nerve health and energy, often found in high doses in B-complex or senior multivitamins. But for seniors over 60, doses above 50 milligrams daily can cause neuropathy, leading to falls and heart stress. I treated a patient named Alice, an 81-year-old who took 100 milliliters of B6 daily for nerve strength. She developed numbness in her hands and feet, affecting her balance. Her blood pressure fluctuated and she experienced palpitations, linked to autonomic nerve dysfunction from B6 toxicity. After 60, your nerves are more sensitive, and excess B6 damages their protective sheath, increasing fall risk and cardiovascular strain. We stopped Alice's B6, and with therapy, her nerve function improved. Most seniors need only 1.5 to 2 milligrams of B6 daily, easily met through diet, e.g., fish, bananas. Check your multivitamins B6 content and avoid high-dose B-complex unless prescribed. 8. Iron, the energy booster. That can overload your heart. Iron supplements are often taken for fatigue, especially by seniors without confirmed deficiency. But for those over 60, excess iron can accumulate, damaging the heart, liver, and brain. A patient named Henry, a 74-year-old, took iron pills for low energy without testing. He came to me with chest heaviness and fatigue. Tests showed high ferritin levels indicating iron overload, which was stiffening his heart muscle and raising heart failure risk. After 60 sipa, your body stores iron more readily, and supplements can cause oxidative stress, inflaming organs. We stopped Henry's iron, and with blood donation, his levels normalized. Never take iron unless blood tests, e.g. ferritin, hemoglobin, confirm deficiency. Avoid multivitamins with iron unless prescribed, and rely on foods like lentils or lean meat. 9. Fish oil, the heart-healthy fat that can thin your blood. Too much. Fish oil, rich in omega-3s, is a favorite for heart health, promising to lower triglycerides and reduce inflammation. But for seniors over 60, high doses, above 1,000 milligrams daily, can thin blood excessively, especially if you're on anticoagulants. A patient named Clara, a 76-year-old, took 2,000 millimeters of fish oil alongside warfarin. She experienced bruising and dizziness, linked to excessive blood thinning. After 60, your blood vessels are more fragile, and fish oil's anticoagulant effects can increase bleeding risk, stressing the heart. We reduced Clara's dose to 500 milligrams and monitored her closely. If you take fish oil, stick to 250-500 milligrams daily, and consult your doctor if you're on blood thinners or have heart conditions. Fatty fish like salmon is a safer alternative. Empowering your heart. Safe supplement strategies. After exploring these 9 supplements, you may wonder how to support your heart safely. The good news is that you can nourish your body with minimal risk by following these guidelines. Prioritize food over pills. Get nutrients from whole foods like berries, leafy greens, nuts, and fish, which provide balanced nutrition without overload. Check labels carefully. Avoid multivitamins with high doses of vitamin A, B6, E, or iron unless prescribed. Consult your doctor. Discuss supplements with your physician, especially if you take medications or have kidney heart issues. Test before supplementing. Blood tests for iron, calcium, or vitamin levels ensure you only take what's needed. Balance minerals. Use magnesium or calcium with vitamin K2 to prevent arterial buildup. Moderate doses. Stick to recommended daily allowances unless medically advised otherwise. Your heart has been your steadfast partner, beating through every joy and challenge. Now it's asking for your care. Not blind trust in supplements, but informed choices. Share one thing you've learned in the comments. Type 1 if this was helpful, or 0 for more clarity. Let's support each other in living healthier, longer, and stronger.